Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 134 of I Got Gameplay. I believe it's 134. I don't know what time of day it is or what day of the week it is. But it's still great. My name is Michael Burr. I'm very tired today because I've had my full weekend of Minion time. For those people who don't know, my Minions
And
are
it's
my little
very
kids.
hot here, by the way. I'm going to stand up for Burnham. It's very hot here in England right now.
Yeah, it is. In the UK at the moment.
And obviously in the UK we don't own air cons because we live in the 40s.
Yeah, and not just that, ladies and gents. It's, to be frank, everything is just way too expensive at the moment. So we're kind of in our own little rut, so to speak. But if you want to know who the Minions are, go to my channel at the moment, youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, and there's a little section that I've started on my channel for the next 5 weeks called Ask the Minions. So I've got all 6 of them, my 2 nephews, my 4 little kids. Basically, you get a chance
And
to
they've
ask them a
technically
question.
done an intro to my channel as well.
Yes, they have. And they've got a...
They say sexy biscuits?
They do say sexy biscuits, yeah.
I felt a little bit awkward, I'm not going to lie.
No, it was fun. They didn't say it. The thing is, Dave, I've always said this. It's execution, it's delivery. The way they delivered it was kind of the way that kids would deliver it.
Yeah.
They had no clue what it was.
I remember it was sexy biscuit.
And I came up with my Game Gear and just went nice. But yeah, they do their question answer and they talk about their favourite games. It's actually kind of hilarious watching them.
Better be Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation.
Well, it's like as you go for the younger ones. Like my elder ones are very articulate, so they sat there and they were just like, well, I like this game because of this. But then when you went to the younger ones, my 3-year-old just sat there and just went,
what's a game?
He was like, because I like cats. And I was just like sitting there laughing. And then my nephew who just came back from China, I was like, okay, so what game do you like? Nintendo Land. Why do you like Nintendo Super Mario Brothers Wii? Why do you Super Mario 3D World? Okay, so what about I like this game? And it was laughing because he just kept talking about games.
Just kept reeling them off.
He was just name dropping every single game, and I was just like, okay, that's the end of that then. And it's funny just watching me just sit there and talk with them and see their responses. So what I was thinking of doing, guys, if you frequent my channel, make sure you leave a comment at the bottom of this video. Ask us what question that you'd like to ask the Minions, and I will do it for next week. I'll get them to answer the question, basically what they think of it, because it'll be funny, especially if it's something that they have no clue about. So it'll be funny just trying to figure out what they're going to say.
Existential creationism.
Oh yeah, what's your stance on creationism? I like to create stuff on Minecraft. That's literally the way it's
What
going to
was
be.
your favourite period
agree.
in the NASA space station program?
Oh, by the way, I am one proud nerdy dad because I was sitting down at the park, like, playing with them on the swings, and this little girl comes up and she goes to my son, "You got a Mario t-shirt." I know Mario. And I was like, "It's a me, Mario." And her dad was like, "Oh yeah, I know that game." And she was sitting there talking to my daughter about the Wii U, and her dad was just like, "Dang, your kids know a lot about gaming." I was like, "I know."
I would have said to him when he goes,
Hey,
"Hey, I know that game. I know Mario." I would have said, "Right, kids, leave. One moment. Really? You know that game? Of course you bloody know that game. What are you, fucking stupid? It's Mario."
Well,
Dumbass.
Dave, she's a 5-year-old, so yeah. But my
No, I was
kids,
talking to her dad.
no, my kid, he was happy as low because he's sitting there just like going, "Your kids are very well versed in gaming." And then my daughter was like, "My dad has his own YouTube channel," and they started reciting my Nerd Genius theme song, which was kind of weird. My kids actually know it off by heart, so. But going on
Gotta
that,
get them
guys.
to
Are you really bionic, by the way?
Yes, I am the $6 million. No, I'm the £6 man. So
Well, just to
We
say,
can-
if you're the $6 million man, based on the $6 million
$6
man
million
right now,
we can
be
rebuild him.
obsolete.
Yeah, we
Be
can rebuild
obsolete.
him, but we can't
I
spend
like
any
to
money.
think that $6 million man does actually have 4 buttons on his back, so 3 buttons, so you can go Control Alt Delete and reset him. Just saying.
But I'm sure.
Holding the sleep button and he goes.
Yeah, so for that, ladies and gentlemen, just to introduce our co-host for today's show, we've got Mr. Lawn Boys Post 1975 himself, Mr. Dave Wade. Dave, what you been up to? How are you? And as you can tell, I didn't put as much impact in that today because 1, I have Minions sleeping in the room, and 2, I am just so blatantly tired.
And 3, it's so hot. Sorry, rest of the world. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but us English people don't take heat very well.
Just say
'cause
it's hot like as in a boiler room. Imagine going
it's
to
a
the
dry heat,
hottest,
man.
a hottest boiler room. I remember the thing that makes me
I
so
actually,
hardcore.
I actually bought a spatula from the store today so I can flip my nuts from one thigh to the other.
Well, have you ever been in like a dry cleaners, Dave, where you'd go into the room where they do all the dry cleaning and bits and pieces, and they put the solvents? I spent majority of my childhood in those rooms, and it was hot as hell.
I can't talk about dry cleaning without referencing Jerry Seinfeld. Sorry, gotta do it.
Go on.
Dry cleaning? What's with dry cleaning? I mean, how do you clean without water? I mean, do this, and then he picks his shirt, just goes, "Is that it? Is that dry cleaning?" Sorry.
Boom, ba-dum.
Yeah, sorry, people. Those who are in, EU land. Yes, I might be the only English person who actually enjoys Seinfeld and owns every box set. Just saying.
You may be, but you may not be.
And Married with Children.
Oh,
Two
I
great-
love Married
Two
with
great
Children.
sitcoms in the world ever.
Love and marriage, go together like a horse and carriage. Speaking of going together like a horse and carriage, we have with us today
Now,
Mr.
let's have sex. No peg.
No Peg.
I
We
was
have,
just thinking about that. They flushes the toilet.
yeah, we have with us
That's the greatest
today.
episode of Married with Children. I know this is a gaming podcast, but I've got to say, the greatest episode of Married with Children is when Al Bundy built his own personal
Oh,
toilet.
the man! Oh no, the man cave.
Psycho Dad.
Psycho
Oh,
Dad.
When they bury
Killed
the
his wife
fucking
with a
car when
fry.
it dies, and he finds out that there's money in the parts, so he's digging it back up.
Yeah.
And he gets that one shot owning a Dodge Viper because he's the only bloke who has a shit car, a Dodge, and
He has to prove how crappy the
Yeah.
old Dodge is.
and then he
they-
falls asleep in it in the garage, and it knocks the handbrake off, and he rolls it over, so it's not on 000 miles anymore.
The greatest thing about Al Bundy, he proves basically how the little guy always gets. an
Al Bundy
opportunity,
is a
but
god
never
amongst
got it.
men, as far
He
as I'm
is.
concerned.
I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree with you on that one.
Plus, let's quickly, and I'll shut up after this, but I just like to say, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in religion, but I do believe in the Church of No Man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh
Just
my
like,
god, I want one of those shirts.
Speaking of No Man,
I have one of those shirts.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
National
have
Organization
Mr.
of
Dietless,
Men Against Amazonian
70.
Masterhood.
we have Mr. Dietless79 himself, Mr. Sean J. Michelin with us. Sean, how are you today? And as you can tell, I am baking. I am baking like a Jamaican in a sunny desert.
It's maybe 15 degrees here. It hasn't been a very warm day. It's going to be into the 20s warm. Not too bad. Just had a nice day.
Well, if
I
this
got my
continues,
weekends
I'm
off
going to
from
probably
work,
end
so.
up turning into like a Somalian man.
Paddy,
It reminds me of that quote
Paddy
that
bought me some ice packs, and do you know what I do with them? Right now, it sounds really
put them in
stupid.
your knickers.
I put them in my bed when I sleep because they drop my body temperature because I hate heat. I know it sounds like a stereotype to the rest of the world who just go like, what the fuck is wrong with you English people? I hate heat.
Oh, I do. The thing is, I don't hate heat. The particular heat that's going on at the moment because what's happening with me, hay fever is.
Well, I was just going to
apparent.
say because, sorry, Windy Pops had chicken for tea. Looking at the pollen count and shit like that, we have this really kind of humid heat right now, and the pollen count's gone for the roof. And while I touch wood to make sure I don't get it, I don't suffer from hay fever. The minute I saw that on the news and they described, or the weather channel, and they described everything that's going on with the, like the temperatures right now, my brain just went, to all you poor bastards who suffer from hay fever right now, you have my entire thoughts and sympathy.
Yeah, it is bad because it gets to the point where I'm sneezing so badly, I have to go to bed and sleep it off. It's like having a common cold, basically.
Like
You'd
having a
hate my
hangover.
job because all the vehicles, I'd wash them, and then they're covered in this yellow dust.
I can imagine it's not the best of situations to be in.
Anyway,
The thing is, I don't get my hay fever. This is another thing. When I'm over in the
No,
United States,
don't
my
go
hay
in-
fever is not apparent there. It doesn't it doesn't kick in at all. The heat's fine.
Because they have aircon, and that's why.
Well, the heat's fine. It's totally manageable, and I've never had an issue with it. So it is
I
what
am
it is.
proud, right? I am proud of the fact that I do not sunbathe, I do not do anything like that. And yes, if I take my shirt off, I have. What do you call it in Canada? We call it
What's that?
farmer's tan. in this country, which is
Oh yeah, we call it farmer stand or trucker stand.
yeah. I'm proud of the fact that I have farmer's tan.
Yeah, I get very brownish myself. If I stay out on the heat too
But
long,
you are
though-
brown, Burhan. Sorry.
No, but I get browner.
Yeah, but you got a year-round tan. That's like Jake, the guy that works with me from Korea, and he's starting to brown up really fucking fast. And somebody actually mistaken him for somebody from my way. I'm not full Inuit, but somebody thought he was like an Inuit from my area. I'm like, no, he's actually Korean. He's full-on Korean.
Not so much an Eskimo roll, but more like rolling
No.
right Inuit. Sorry.
Okay. Just going on from that, guys, let's talk a little bit about gaming news because I am totally baked right now. Not in a good way.
I will be soon.
I feel like a fried egg, so you know.
Sorry.
Fans petition for Nuka-Cola to be produced. Carl Gaiman started a petition by Bethesda Software and 6 others to actually produce a drink made famous in the Fallout series, and of course it would include
Fuck yes.
a free digital copy
I'd buy
of
it.
Fallout 4. So yes, what do
Fallout
you?
4 is possibly the only reason I'm toying with finding a way to sell a bunch of shit off and buying an Xbox because I need to.
I'm gonna just buy a new PC because I'm all about the mods.
Yeah, all I'm saying is Doom 4. That looks so fucking sexy. And the
Actually,
fact-
Dave, how old is your laptop?
It's 2 years old, but trust me, it has so many system dumps. It thinks it's fucking neurotic.
You can pop out the Wi-Fi card, put in this adapter, and use a desktop video card in it, and you can probably play it on there.
Ooh,
It's 50. It's like 30, 40 quid.
ooh,
Just get a card.
I don't. Sorry, I
no, but
just
saying
sound,
that his machine may overheat and then switch itself off.
I
'cause
sound
that's
like
what
a
I used to-
Skeksis from
with
Dark
machines
Crystal.
of a similar vein, I used to have the same problem. Okay, the Arkham Knight received its
Coca-Cola,
first
though.
patch on PC and release notes.
Am
in
I the only
regards to that
person
same
who got
patch.
really annoyed that they deliberately did this? I mean, I know we live in a world of downloadable content, and obviously I'm archaic and live from the 80s, but am I the only person who was really annoyed that there was downloadable content available before the game was fucking released?
What do
That's
you mean?
like...
They yanked it off of Steam.
For Arkham Knight, you're talking about?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
yanked it off of Steam.
Yeah, they yanked
Because
it off of Steam
it's-
because of a litany of issues with the game itself. One, it wasn't actually running on.
Oh no,
proper
I'm talking
frame
about
rate.
content packs. by the
Two,
way.
there was crashing issues that made the game unplayable. And for what I've been told, and the reason behind Time Warner ripping it off was because not just the fact they received so many complaints, was it got to the point where the Valve actually had to step in, and they instigated their own refund policy for this. So
Wow.
to stop people from actually claiming so many refunds, Time Warner decided to to just take it off of Steam, go back, fix it. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have even bothered.
I mean, I know we've had this for years, and so what I'm going to say makes no actual impact or relevance whatsoever, but I'm still going to say it, which is, game companies, here's an idea, released a finished game.
This is the thing. Kotaku had an article up about this recently, which I don't kind of frequent Kotaku that much due to a ton of issues of the way that they do practice their business, including the Angry Joe
Preaching to the
rant video.
choir.
Yeah, they're a site that works a lot more on clickbait than anything else. But I kind of had my issues with them, but I checked out the site and the article that they wrote talking about the fact that our companies, that we used to do a thing called pre-orders, and the reason why pre-orders were introduced was so fans can get the latest games for relatively the same cost that you would be getting it if you bought it first hand from the stores. But it gave you also a chance to get like little extras and downloadable content and stuff for these games, so that you can enjoy your game with all the nice.
What it
little
was
fixings and
intended
stuff.
for, to improve a product,
Yeah.
not to be a fix
Yeah.
or a plaster or a band-aid.
Yeah. The whole thing actually infers to the fact that now companies are using this as a way to say, well, we've got your money, so we don't have to give you a finished game.
Yeah. Got your nuts.
Yeah,
Just saying.
so that's it. Basically, them, as Dave put it so eloquently. I'm misphrasing everything today. So yeah, as Dave put it so eloquently, they get your money And then they get to the point of, well, we don't have to actually have a finished game because we've got the money. You know, we don't have to do anything
because
else.
we can fix shit afterwards.
Yeah, and it's kind of the Kickstarter trend, as I call it, because now companies are looking at Kickstarter now to do the same thing. Going on from that, actually, to the news that we were talking about with Yu Suzuki came out and said, oh, by the way, Sony isn't actually funding the other parts of Shenmue 3, so we're going to need a little bit more money from you guys.
Oh, that's a topic for another podcast. But yeah, that
yeah,
really...
he was like, let's be honest. He was like, I know that's halfway. I know we reached our funding goal in spades, but this is, you know, in order to get the finished game done and a game to full effect, we're going to need up to 10 million from you. And I sat there and I looked at this and
Don't change your final finish goal. I don't like that.
I love the fact that at least he was being honest about it, and I do love the fact that Shenmue 3 is finally being made.
Oh no, I want it to happen, but I just don't like it when people change the the finish line.
Yeah, they move the goalposts, as you would put it. Yeah, he's very nicely talked about this, but when you're like 28 days in, you've got 28 days left. And
28 days later, sorry,
yeah, and you've come out and you said this. It's smoke and mirrors. You've said to people, well, we weren't being honest. Now we're gonna be honest.
You didn't realise what response you would have, and don't get me wrong. I really want this game,
I have no issue with the fact that they're doing this.
I think there's a little bit of, look at the response we got. Oh, maybe we can get a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that
your book, Brian. Your book, Brian. You know,
it's a situation. As I said, for me, it makes me rather skeptic because of the fact that when they first initially talked about the goal, and myself and Fungo were talking about this, how the initial goal was like 3 million, and Fungo was like,
They were completely. Don't get me wrong, people.
Didn't the last game cost them 10 million to make?
Game.
Yeah.
I want this game. I really want this game. But what I don't like about this is where they are now is completely a different perspective from where they were when they started this crowd, funding thing. Like, oh look, possibly we might get a little bit more.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Mighty Number 9 situation where it's been nearly 3 years and we still haven't got a copy of Mighty Number 9, and they tried to fleece more money out of people. And as I said, I haven't got an issue with this. I'm not hating on Ryu Suzuki about this.
Yeah, nor am I, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me say, I just don't like how they played this.
Yeah, they should have been honest about it from the get-go. And secondly, there's still an issue that they haven't talked about or discussed, which is the rights. He says that Sega handed the rights over to him and he's not allowed to discuss it. Well, I'm sorry. This is the big deal here. People have poured their money into it, and they need to know that they're getting they're getting this finished product.
They need to know that they're getting a Sega
quality assurance.
Yeah, and you're expecting people to give 10 million over of their hard-earned money to this Kickstarter. I want to know how these rights have been negotiated, if Sega are on board with this, or if you have the full rights to this game. Because if you don't, and then we end up having a situation where Sega actually decides to lift their big boy pants up and say, you know what? No, we're not letting you produce this. That's 10 million of people's money that's gone.
Yeah. That does worry me. Maybe
actually, the way Kickstarter works now, if most times when goals aren't realized, people get a refund.
I'm hoping that happens.
I'm just worried.
Sean, this is the thing. The goal has been reached. They've got that goal.
Yeah.
That 3 million goal is there. That money is going to him.
But now they're pulling the KG Inafune and saying they need more money.
Yes.
Here's my big, fear.
I
don't know anything about gaming.
He's been
and
relatively honest, but that issue is still an issue. No one knows if they actually own the rights to this or not. It's the same kind of issue.
That's my point, which is I get a little bit worried that, even though we've always wanted this game, we wanted the final chapter of the trilogy. Yeah, I get a little bit worried that Sega might look at this and just go, "Hey, look at all the money they made, and this is actually going to happen," and then feel the need to step in. when they have no place to do such because they didn't believe in this product in the first place.
Yeah, and as I said, I haven't got too much of an issue with it. When it was assumed, and I put it as assumed because I know GameSpot did an interview with him where he said that Sony is helping, when it turns out that wasn't the case at all. But it was assumed that Sony was helping.
Sony sat on their asses and waited for it to get interest. That's what they did.
No,
and
they kind of helped develop the interest. They did this thing so that we would start putting the money over to it.
You know what it reminds me
on
of?
The fence. They were on the fence.
It reminds me of the Salkinds and Warner Brothers when they were putting out that first Superman movie. The Salkinds had to secure all the funding, they had to produce everything, and it was what's called a reverse pickup deal. Warner Brothers would simply distribute it.
Yeah.
And even though it's their property and things like that, but they put the onus on Salkinds. So they were dealing with everything: casting, production, payroll, promotion, all this stuff. All Warner Brothers did was distribute it. They said, if you can get this made, you get the money, we'll distribute it for you. And this is what it's pretty much sounding like with Shenmue 3 and Sony and,
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm very, very happy that it's finally happening. We're going to get this groundbreaking game. But at the same time, I'm a little bit worried about the conflicting forces involved.
This is the main issue here. It's basically, there's a huge conflicting thing here. There's a huge cloud over this, to the fact that and the way they went about this wasn't a great way of sitting there going, by the way, we just want to let you guys know this isn't actually the real stretch goal. The real stretch goal, if you want, we can happily make a Shenmue game.
Like you said, we just extended the goalpost.
Yeah, it's like we can make a Shenmue game, but if you want a true Shenmue game, you're going to have to fork out 10 million.
Yeah. Which, to me, is like, well, then don't even though we want it, and know there's an audience for it, don't, float the idea or put out there in the first place. Either you make the game that the fans want, or you don't even, tease us with it, because it's a very important project that a lot of people hold dear. So, do it correctly or not. Don't change goalposts and suddenly go, oh.
It does seem really misleading, and that the back of me, it's like the back of my mind and my gut seems to say that something is not right about this.
I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried. I want this game. I really want this game, but part of my mind is just going, And
I'm giving you
don't fuck this up, people. Don't fuck this up.
I'm giving you guys the elephant in the room on this, and I know a lot of big sites like IGN and GameSpot are not going to discuss this, so we're going to discuss it because we need to figure out what's happening and why this has happened. And to me, it seems.
By the way, people, we're not writing off the project. We're just saying there's something a little bit fishy behind the scenes with the way they changed the goalposts. Just me, sorry.
Yeah, and it seems a little bit off. And it seems that there's a bit of controversy surrounding this at the moment. For those of you out there, leave your comments and say to us, are you happy with this? Like, we're in 20 days to go, and it's on 3.7 million so far. So you're going to get a Shenmue game by the end of it, but we may not get the game that we want, the full experience, unless we actually get this game to 10
million.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about, which is we're going to get, I want a Shenmue game. I don't want a game that's got Shenmue stamped on the fucking title.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like, the full experience is going to cost up to 10 million to do. They're even looking at doing, like, if it reaches over 11 million, they'll get more bang for your buck with that. And it's... I think what they need to do is they need to be frank and answer the question of who actually owns the right for this. Does Sega own the rights here? Does Sega actually own the rights to this game?
Is this a Sega game?
Or Suzuki? Or does Suzuki own the rights? And it's because you kind of been very sketchy to begin with. It's now time to go, okay, let me, let's bring that together and talk and discuss this, because if you don't, there is no way you're going to get any more money. It's one of the reasons I think it's slowed down a lot at the moment, is because of that fact, because no one knows for sure if they're being truthful or not. and that's the fact.
I wouldn't see. I don't know if I go as far as to say that. I just think, truthful or not, I think the whole problem with this is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and we don't actually know what we're necessarily going to get. You know, we know we're going to get Shenmue game, but it's,
we don't know what type of Shenmue game we're going to get, especially with the amount of money they're going to need to give us the full experience.
Exactly, that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. Going on from that, we got another little bit of news here. Apparently, the Pip-Boy that's going to be released with Fallout 4 will not support bigger phones like the iPhone 6 Plus. So if you're going to get the special edition Pip-Boy...
Well, that's broken right off the fucking rack right there then.
Well, if you're going to get a special edition Pip-Boy, you've got to look at the fact it's going to only support phones like your iPhone 5, your smaller, not the bigger tablet type phones, more of the smaller kind of smartphones, you know. The ones that kind of normal time size that fit in the palm of your hands, not the tablet kind of ones like the iPhone 6 Plus. So be aware of that when you pre-order. Okay, The Devil's Third. I don't even know what the bloody hell this game is, but apparently it's in a lot of trouble at the moment in North America. And it's a game that's going to be released on the Nintendo Wii U, apparently. But it may not get a release date in North America or even Europe, and here's the reason why. Now, one of the games which people were really looking forward to at E3 was The Devil's Third. After a surprise showing at E3 2014, the game being the centerpiece of a big mature title of the Nintendo Showcase, much like it did with Bayonetta 2. But nothing's been seen of 2015, and many people began to question what's going on with the game. The game has a release date of August in every part of the world except for North America, so what the hell's going on? Now, the fact is, it not being...
So does that make it a PAL exclusive?
It could be a PAL exclusive, yeah. The fact is it could be a download-only game on eShop. It has been removed from future releases sections, which makes no sense. And also, I remember Nintendo America stated that they didn't have any info on The Devil's Third, and now two things could be circumstantial. That there's more to the story on this. Now, at E3, they spoke with a very high-level figure in Nintendo America about the game, who will remain anonymous, of course. And they can't quote them on the matter, but they said, we aren't handling that game. At first, they didn't know exactly what that meant. But when they thought about it, it felt, in simple terms, it appears that Nintendo America will not be publishing the game in the United States. Pretty much what it is. And why does that make sense at all? Now...
Well, it doesn't, because there's... Well, no, I mean, I know that that's what you're saying, but, like, really? It's a no-brainer to release it there.
It's
I don't
basically
understand.
because it's not a unified company. And also, it could be the fact that Nintendo are kind of downplaying the Wii U now, as you've pointed out. Because Dave did hit the money shot, in a sense, with the Wii U, as it wasn't the swan song, but you could tell that they were kind of reducing
winding
emphasis.
down.
Yeah, they were reducing emphasis on the console. And that's where the problem kind of lay on this. And because of that, it brings to the whole...
So they basically cut their nose off to spite their face, because they're in wind down mode and now they're restricting markets.
Yeah. So, it does say that Nintendo of Europe and Japan will be publishing the game in their respective regions, but for now, North America, it is in question.
Can I ask an obvious stupid question?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know. Is the Wii U's like locked, region locked, right?
It is.
Yeah. So okay, just checking.
So if you buy a game on eShop in the United States, you cannot play it in the UK. Or if you buy it in the UK, you cannot do it in the United States. So it's
stupid, because it would make sales for them.
It would, but that's the way that they do it. So, as a company,
I feel like I need to roll up a newspaper and slam it on Nintendo's face like I would a dog who pissed in the lot.
No.
Yeah.
Scruff them by the neck. No.
Bad boy, you're stupid. Think about what you've done.
Yeah. Think about what you've done, Nintendo, for peeing on the rug.
Peeing on your fans.
By the way, if you want to check out 5 hours of explosive gameplay of Street Fighter 5, you can do by checking out E3 coverage by various sites including IGN and GameSpot. And that's pretty much it in terms of story. Now, the biggest story that came off of this week was...
By the way, Burhan, I think who may have killed Sean. He's been dead for a very long time.
No, he's just going to deal with some personal business quickly. He'll be back in a second. The big thing coming out of this week is the fact that Arkham Knight was released and PC got a
unfinished.
bit of a headache. Well, not on console, but on PC it was unfinished because it was actually produced by a third-party developer, I believe.
They're deported.
Yeah.
Is it the same game engine?
It is, but the game engine doesn't... It's not... They haven't done the testing that's required, the QA testing that was required to make sure that the game...
They banged it out there to meet...
What game was this again?
Date.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah. Like the Xbox One, the PS4, and PC are all rather similar, but they're still small amounts. It's the operating systems that are the problem. PC, Windows. Xbox One, kind of Windows. PS4, based on BSD, pretty much the same thing as Mac.
Yeah.
It's not a PS4. So that's the little issue they got when they got to port it to Windows when they put it on Steam. And Steambox, which is Linux.
Yeah, so in terms of that, they basically had to deal with it, and
well, then this goes back to, and I know I'm just going to say what everyone's thinking right now, but it's like, well, then why fucking release the game if it's not in a functional form? Oh wait, you have to meet a release date.
yeah,
But it's just am I the only person who's getting, and I know we get it all the time, but am I the only person who's getting really fed up with fucking unfinished games being released that I pay £45 for?
That's why I waited 2 years to play either Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Because by then you know that they got most all the bugs worked out.
So broke on day one. That game
I never
so
picked
broke.
up and played a copy of New Vegas until 2012. 2 or 3 years
And
after its
Fallout
release.
3, at least my experience on the Xbox, even though I love Fallout 3, I really do.
I got it on the
But
Xbox 360
you
as well.
cannot install, when you get the Game of the Year edition, you cannot install all the extra content at once.
I got it all installed.
Well, I couldn't.
I got
did-
both games for 360 and PC.
Oh no, but what I'm talking about is when I installed all the extra content and all the extra maps, and my favourite map is the going to space map. It just broke it, and I just found myself moonwalking.
That's
in
like-
the desert.
The very first day I played, this is like early 2012, or early 2011, I should say, when I first played Fallout 3 on my 360. I didn't bother to update it or anything. I said, fuck it, I'm not online, whatever. It has an update. I'm just not going to fucking bother.
I would like to say
And
this.
just
by the
played
way,
it. I fell through the map
Christmas
within
games
5
no problem.
minutes.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you fell through the floor.
Yeah, so my buddy
Then it
Andrew
was
is the one that got me into it. I was like, Andrew, what am I doing wrong? He's like, did you update it and install the extra disc? I was like, no. I was like, do it.
Makes
Honestly,
no
then
difference
it's playable.
in my opinion. I'm just saying, it's not broken
Oh, yeah.
in the sense that it's unplayable, but what is broken. But Fallout 3, I love it.
I noticed that a
Go for
lot
it.
of game developers are more
It's
open to
expensive.
modding now. Apparently, Fallout 4 is going to be open to modding, and I think honestly, like with Arkham Knight, they should have had it more open to modding and let it play around a while because the modders find a way to fix the game better.
The
fix for Fallout 3 was-
you can openly fix it if you're a modder and we want to come after you
Yeah.
from a legal perspective.
They need to start letting people beta test in the public, not just their own little staff for beta test. And that's the problem here with Arkham Knight, is the fact that they're pretty close-lipped about it. Only letting our own people on it. I was like, no. These are people that hate their fucking job and are sick of it. You're a game tester. That's a fucking that whole thing about that. There was a reality show about being game testers, like everybody's in competition.
That's the problem because
You're told to like you got to grind this level and see if there's a problem with the bitmaps or something like that for the walls, and that's the problem with Arkham Knight. See, Fallout 3 got its fixes through the modding community. Bethesda looked at it as, oh shit, they got some good stuff here. This is how we fix it for PC, because there was what they call the unofficial Fallout 3 patch, which I had to apply the PC version that I installed, and it was modders that found the problems. They knew what to look for. Game testers that these companies have are idiots.
But it's not just that as well. The game testers are on a time scale, so what they'll do is like, find as many issues as you can. But if you can't find anything, then
plus they're on the payroll, so they're scared to actually voice any genuine opinion.
Yeah, and it's I get it. I understand why they did it, but at the same time, it's kind of like where does it leave you?
Well, I mean,
and the problem is, I would, in order to resolve these issues, I would have these companies look at like the guys who are the highest level modders in the community. You can find out via Steam the guys who are putting out all these patches and say, right, let's go to these guys.
Christ, they do it for free as well, though.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's approach these guys and give them a free copy of the game plus all the DLC, right?
Yeah.
So we'll give you this. All you've got to do is make sure that you beta test
find
the
the
game
shit,
for us.
fix the crap we didn't.
That's pretty much it. And that's all you've got to do. It's not hard. It's not hard at all, game companies. You know,
freelance these guys, and they know the little things they'll fucking look for better than the
but
fucking
then this
testers. They just
what we
what's
were
put
talking about
forward.
Slamcast last night, doesn't it, Bohan? Which is the problem with every major company in any walk of life is the people who run it are a bunch of fucking idiots in suits who are so far removed.
They look
from
at bottom
product.
line. Yeah, they do look at bottom line. I agree with you on that one, and it gets to the point where you sit there and think, okay, I get what you're doing. I don't understand why you're doing it though, because this is a simple mistake to fix. And I want to go back to
because you're damaging your own product.
I want
and
to
your
go
own
back
company
to
and
Time
reputation.
Warner's previous foray into a Batman game, and the one which was without the company that kind of completed this series, which was Rocksteady.
Yes.
And Rocksteady, by the way, is a British company, for those who don't know. They do have a developmental studio here in the United Kingdom.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And they're the ones that kind of created the engine that allow Batman and games like Assassin's Creed to exist. You know, they created Batman Arkham City, and the same engine has actually
Arkham City's still the best one.
They put an intentional bug in the game for pirators, people who pirated the first game, Arkham Asylum. So the part where you had to glide on your cape, they put a bug in there that if somebody cracked it, that would render the cape useless. So you could not pass a certain part of the game where you could only do it with the cape.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
Yeah, so that's where they put an intentional bug in. It took coders a long time, these homebrewers, to crack that part and fix it.
Yeah.
So they actually, they're pretty good, Rocksteady's company as a whole.
But they're the ones who originally came up with this concept. The game came out, and then Warner decided, hey, you know what, we're going to make another Arkham game. And Rocksteady were like, well, we're washing our hands of it. We don't want to do another one.
Which ones are canon? I get confused because if you flip the back,
it's all canon. But
if you flip the back box cover, it says like the explosive ending to the Arkham trilogy, and my brain's like, well, hang on, there's 4 games. So which one?
It's
one is not?
It's still considered canon, but with Rocksteady involved, it's considered only a trilogy.
But which game did they exclude? If that makes sense.
Arkham Origins, and let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, they can have that one,
In 2013, it was an action video game developed by Warner Brothers and released by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, Wii U, Xbox 360.
Yeah, I have it on the Wii U, and it's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's the successor to 2011 video game Batman Arkham City, and the third installment of the Arkham series. It was released worldwide on October 25th, 2013. It was written by Corey May.
It's all bells and whistles, but no substance.
It sets 5 years before 2009's Batman Arkham Asylum and follows a young, less refined Batman, and a bounty is placed on him by crime lord Black Mask. Now, what this game is, it literally is a prelude that leads you into the Arkham City. Batman.
It was a prequel.
Yeah, it leads you into the Arkham Asylum game, or it's supposed to. The biggest issues with this game, and I'm going to talk about that and the critical reception.
Sorry.
Yeah, the game received a 73.59, 76 out of 100 on the 360 version. The Wii U version got 70 out of 100. Microsoft Windows version got 74 out of 100. It was considered an incremental installment in the series rather than a transformative one. Right? It was said that basically expanded on Arkham Asylum. It applied all the game mechanics.
It was linear. That's the biggest problem. The fact that it followed City, it was so restricted and linear. You would think that having follow a game like that, you would at least try and match it. But it felt like, I don't know, being stuck in a really small room.
And they didn't do anything to improve on anything. And the reason being was it was a different team that handled it.
Yeah, it was
Rocksteady.
but wasn't it Rocksteady Montreal?
No, it was Warner that handled it. They took
Yeah,
everything
they did it in-house.
Rocksteady said, "Here's everything we've got on the game. All you got to do is take it and do what you will with it." And that's kind of what they did.
Took
So
the
then they
engine off
turned
the
the other
ship,
cheek
wasn't
and
it?
let them run off and do whatever the fuck they wanted with it.
Yeah, and the thing is, they used the same mechanics. It's like, imagine you reverse engineered something. So you reverse engineered the code, you got the game working to a standard where it's pretty much
Oh
the
yeah,
same. It's
it's
the
a
same
Batman
game.
game. It is a Batman game. It looks shiny and fantastic and
The
everything
thing
like that.
that
It's
kind
just a
of let
hollow experience.
yeah the game that kind of let it down was the fact that the Joker died in Arkham City, so no one expected to see the Joker in this game. Then suddenly the Joker,
Spoilers. Sorry.
yeah. Then suddenly we've got the Joker in it.
Fucker, I saw it play. You had it sitting there in the Steam download.
Yeah, and we
Played
knew
the
that he
first one.
was going to be involved in it in some form or fashion, because of the fact that that Hamill decided that he didn't want to return as the Joker. So
Definitive Joker to me, by the way.
then they played a lot of smoke and mirrors with the game itself. The story was kind of lacking. And they also got to the point, because the sales weren't as great as they expected it to be, because the original company behind it weren't involved. They decided to pull the DLC.
That's branding, though, isn't it? The people, your average, person who has to drop 45 quid on a video game is not stupid. If you see the removal of the branding of a company that you expect and respect gone from a case, then that automatically is going to hit you in the pocket. And
But also, the DLC was actually considered a far better game than the original main story. The Coldest Heart DLC, it was better paced, it focused on the main game, owing into its shorter playtime, allowed more interesting
3DS
experience.
version's not bad, by the way.
It was criticised, however, for losing focus near the end. They did a lot of padding, unnecessary deviations. The DLC featured satisfying combination of serious combat, stealth, detective mechanics, introduced to the new enemy types, wheeled ice guns capable of freezing both Batman and other enemies. They described the story as entertaining, following the interesting character of Mr. Freeze, but considered it lacking in surprise because it replicates from the 1992 Batman the Animated Series episode Heart of Ice. The final battle against Freeze was criticised, replicating several elements of the character in Arkham City. So basically what it was...
My
it was
biggest
nothing...
problem with it was, compared to Arkham City, which was open world and fucking fantastic, was it just... there were elements in it that were, punching above their weight and were quite good, but bottom line is, it was just a fucking brawler.
But
It
here was
straight
the
direct.
icing of the cake. The thing that kind of killed this game from the get-go was the launch. There was a number of issues on launch, right? Including lagging, unending falling, preventing a completion of missions, no continue buttons on startup screen, preventing a previous game from being loaded, progression gameplay failing to unlock on Windows, a bug that prevented players from accessing one of the Enigma towers, and Xbox 360 game files were corrupted and unplayable with crashing and freezing problems. The
Cough
issues were
Battlefield
addressed.
4, sorry.
The issues were addressed by Warner Bros. Montreal in the community post. It said development team fixed many of the multi-platform problems and the update would be available by November 7th. They added that Windows-specific issues were addressed in the update, which went live on the 31st of October. The 360 issues were under investigation. And as of February 2014, Warner Bros. Montreal announced that they would not release any additional patches or fixes for the game at all. And that they'll just focus on the single-player DLC instead. And only future patches would address the issues preventing progression of
Thanks,
the game.
Warner Brothers Montreal. Enjoy my 45 quid, but
Yeah.
you shafted me.
And also, there
Just
was
like
the
the
issue.
strippers in Metro.
There were issues with the Wii U version where they failed to release any of the DLC for the Wii U version at all.
Yeah. Which is
wasn't
annoying,
there a specialized
because
version of Arkham Asylum or Arkham City?
Arkham
for the
City
Wii
was
U?
the Game of the Year edition. It had all the downloadable content on it, and this is my biggest
and it
problem.
also had some extra features that are not found in the other games, which including
Yeah,
new
because
tech
you can
armor and
access his
support.
menu and shit.
Yeah.
And also the fact that I stand by this, which is it's one of the greatest games for intuitive use of the Wii U pad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's when the Wii U
Yeah,
pad
they
was
push
seen
it,
more
the,
than a
Keynote.
gimmick. It was seen as something where you could use.
The
and
bit
code.
at the start where you have to, and I know it's right at the start, and there's lots. I'm not gonna, spoil everyone else with this because I don't want to ruin it because it's a brilliant game and you can buy it for fucking £6 right now. The bit at the start where you have to scan the room for the bullet. to me on the pad was my brain just went, thank you. This is what the Wii U pad should be used for. If instructed or implemented correctly, I should say, into a game,
Yeah.
it completely improves the experience.
Which brings me to my next point. It's only because of a money reason, because the people, all people have up-to-date smartphones, is the only reason why Fallout 4 never came out for the Wii U. Because they just eliminated the need to, because of the fact that everybody got a smartphone. Well, tell them they can use it as a Pip-Boy and PC in the other two, because it's easier to port. The
Now,
only issue with Wii ports is harder to port, but that would be amazing, a Fallout Pip-Boy on your tablet. But yeah,
It would.
no,
It
it's-
would. It would be fucking fantastic.
let's talk a little bit about the previous games of the Arkham series.
yeah.
And talk about
Arkham
Arkham
Asylum.
Asylum. Arkham Asylum was the first game released in the series.
I'm playing that right
was
now, by the way, like
Written
it's on pots.
by, and this is the thing, this people got to understand, it was written by veteran Batman writer Paul
I
Dini.
think it's probably the most
Paul who?
cinematic of all of them.
Jenkins?
Paul Dini.
Paul Dini? Oh, well, he wrote all the animated series in that,
Yes.
right?
And it's basically about Batman trying to stop his arch enemy, the Joker, from who instigates an elaborate plot to seize control of Arkham Asylum
So
and trap Batman
cinematic. I'm
inside.
pretty sure everyone
with
knows
many
what this game is, but it's
of
so cinematic.
his
that game.
incarcerated foes. Now, with the Joker threatening to detonate a hidden bomb and unleash a Titan, an experimental chemical based on venom, around the fictional Gotham City, Batman is forced to fight his way through the asylum inmates and put an end to the Joker's plan. The great thing about this was the story, and the thing about it is it
And
has
the
a nice-
execution of the story.
Yeah, you start off as Batman. You know, you're already operational.
I'm Batman. Sorry.
You've got the original voices behind Batman and the Joker in the game as well. All the guys from the animated series. It was like having the animated series, but with a fucking upgrade of amazing graphics and visuals. The character visuals were so
Still
beautiful.
holds up now, by the way. The graphics in that game still hold up now.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful implementation of the Unreal 3 engine, you know. You had the voice actors who appeared in the other media, including Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Arlene Sorkin, reprised their roles as Batman, the Joker, and also Psychic Harley Quinn,
Oh, Mark
respectively.
Hamill, I love you, but you still owe me an apology for Wing Commander 4. Sorry.
Footnote that there's actually a guy who does the fucking news, does the Weather Network update for the CBC here, and he sounds like Mark Hamill. I have him on at work, just like it's. I have CBC running at work, the news channel, and he comes on for the weather every odd day, and I have him back turned
Does he
into
laugh?
work. And I
Does he
swear
do
to God,
the,
it isn't the cackle for the Joker he doesn't do, but he sounds like Mark
Oh.
Hamill and doing
Let me
voices.
tell you about
as
the
he
weather.
talks.
The great thing about this as well, in this game,
Great.
is you get to play the Joker as well as part of the DLC content. So
Yeah.
if you got the DLC for Arkham City, you'd be able
Plus,
to play Arkham.
It's also a
Arkham Asylum,
perfect
sorry.
example of the fact that you only have 3 buttons, but they
Exactly.
work. You know, it's gameplay
It's a back to
simplified
basics
and
stuff.
perfect.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the story itself. The story is the way that it kind of rolled out was more impressive and rather genuine in its own right.
Oh, the
Because-
opening gives me a semi. The opening
Yeah.
of this game
Oh,
is
when you're just
fucking-
walking through, and
Yeah.
he's there all Hannibal Lecter. Oh, I love that part though. And you're just looking.
And then you
around
see
and
Killer
shit,
Croc in the
walking around,
background,
it's
just saying, "I'll get you
Yeah.
later."
It was basically one of those games that it allowed the engine itself allowed Ubisoft to put something together which has never been done before. You know, and this is before Warner Brothers decided to kind of distribute their games on their own.
I think it's safe to say this was the
company.
the opening of the eyes of a lot of companies about the perfectly
Iron Riders.
personified of the greatest, you know, how to make a superhero game, if you will.
But it focused a lot on story and progression. So you could do like
Oh, yeah.
instance, as you said, this game wasn't very linear because you had the Riddler missions that you could do uncanical. You know,
Plus,
you don't
am I
have
the
to-
only person who
have
felt
to
there was a
do
little
all
bit of Phil playing this game that kind of felt a little bit Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, and it also reminded
Oh,
me a lot
yes.
of the Batman like series. You know, the animated series.
Batman. Sorry.
Yeah, and I felt like Conroy and Hamill played their roles so well, and the characters shone so brightly. You know, the story.
Every time Hamill looks at Batman, regardless of who's voicing the character, and just says the word "bats," gives me a semi. Just saying.
And the story surrounding Venom, the chemical
Oh,
that's
yes.
associated with Bane, really worked as well. And the ending really shone kind of brightly. So let's talk about your experiences. So, Mr. Lawnboy, what's your experience with this game?
I fucking adore it, and I was really, really late to the party. I'm not gonna lie. I played the other games before I played this, and yeah, it's one thing I would like to say, which isn't really a fault with the game in itself, because it's trying to tell a story. Is I wish I could skip that intro scene once I've seen it more than once, but
Very true.
it's like 15 minutes long. But apart from that, it's just like the controls are tight. It's got a very simplified control scheme, but at the same time, it doesn't detract from anything that you want to do, because you feel you're fully able to, fuck people up and shit and throw around and, back gun up and shit like that. But, I guess it's a perfect example of, if you work it in properly, that less is more.
Very much so.
I adore this game, and I was completely and utterly compelled through the entire game, because, as you said, it tells a brilliant story, and it was so cinematic. And so, even though, in fact, I'd go as far as to say that I was fighting people, to beat bosses, to progress to the next stage, just so I could see the next cinematic cut, because it felt like, and very few games can do this, it felt like a true movie experience, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. So, Sean, what about yourself? What was your experience with this? Because I know you probably...
Well, see, I'm
PC,
Johnny come lately to all this. Like, I have Arkham Asylum and Arkham City there on my computer. Actually, my friend Andrew gifted me Arkham City because he knew I was playing Arkham Asylum. I've been picking
it's
at
extremely cheap on Steam if you guys want to check it out. Only $2, which is amazing.
And also, by the way, people, if you want to buy it on your Wii U, because obviously I'm going to promote that console because it's my favorite console right now, you can buy all the Batman games apart from Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, you've got the Armored Edition.
The Wii U for like a $5.
Yeah, so
and that's the thing though, and I've been playing this through, and the mechanics are tight. It's great. Like, I'm playing it on PC, so I'm using a 360 controller. I just got my laptop on top of my TV there and plugged in that. But tip to anybody out there listening who's intimidated by a big commitment to gaming, at the least of it, get Steam, because a lot of these games are on 360 and Xbox and shit like that.
You can also buy
Steam.
them as part of Humble Bundles as well.
Can I run Steam on
experience?
Can I sound like a complete stupid idiot right now?
Yeah.
I thought, can you run Steam on stuff outside of a computer?
Yeah, there's a Steam box that's basically been released, Dave. You can play.
You can do it with a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, you can also.
You can just have the Steam games on your computer, running them in a way, but it's streamed.
That can actually install the Steam app as well.
The NVIDIA
Holy
Shield.
shit, you kidding me? A smart TV can run
Get
Steam?
an NVIDIA Shield.
Yeah.
That NVIDIA Shield can do it.
So you've got there's tons of options there, Dave.
The Steam box, you can actually go and just build a computer and throw Steam OS on it.
In a Batman voice, out of this podcast, I'm gonna, twirl the screen and go da-la-da-la-da-la-da. To the interwebs, I say, I'm going to buy this. Sorry.
We're gonna geek out later when we talk about this after we record. I'm gonna walk you through how different ways you can do this.
So,
it's so great. I just use a 360 controller, and the Batman games, they're dirt cheap on there, and it's great, and you don't need a new computer to run them. And the mechanics are great, story's good. The nod to all of us that are in our general age
the
group
nod
that grew
to
up
the
watching
fans,
Batman
like
Adventures.
said, the nod to the fans though is brilliant in these games, which is
This is like an unofficial Batman Adventures movie.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It is literally that.
Every now and then
Paul
there's a little twinkle in those games that just says, if you know Batman, hey, there you go. You're welcome. Just gave you a nod.
Here's a little hint, kids. If it's got Mark Hamill involved in the Batman project, it's good.
Yeah, and also Kevin Conroy, of course.
Oh, yes. He is. Well, they're the voices. They're the people who have actually played the roles longest in their history.
They weren't in the Arkham Origins game, were they?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the other reasons why people didn't really migrate to the game.
Let's not forget the elephant in the room. Well, it's not an elephant in the room. The reason that Arkham Origins was shit was because it was shit.
Well, basically the game received amazing reviews, sales, also accolades.
It was the most linear
I'm not talking about Origins. I'm talking about Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
And then
sorry, my bad.
That brought us on to Rocksteady's ambitious project, which was the next game in the series in 2011, which was Arkham City.
I have a fucking raging boner over
this
that.
This game, I own 3 copies of this game. I own one which is on the Steam Humble Bundle, which I purchased all 3 games for relatively cheap.
Did you spray your Mogwai with water? Because I can hear them.
Yeah,
I know. I was just gonna say.
they're sleeping. The way that they sleep is very noisy. Um,
Yep. See how she said, "Yep."
yeah,
Yeah.
they also talk in their sleep as
Arkham
well.
Asylum is shit.
They
Sorry.
talk in their sleep as well, so that helps. So we have with
They
this
don't
game,
talk in their sleep. They
See
just
them
go,
after midnight?
yap.
it's more expansive. The universe is more expansive in this game as well.
And it has the
open world.
greatest intro to a game I've ever seen in my life. When you're Bruce Wayne and you're stuck in that, prison. Oh my god, that's just fucking amazing. Sorry.
But I own this game on 3 different systems, including the Wii U, PC, Xbox 360. And the reason being is the game is so good. And what I tend to do now, this is the one game that I
And it's
follow.
got Nightwing in it. Sorry.
I follow the rule of thumb with this game, and the rule of thumb I've always said is if you're going to buy the game, you might as well wait until they release the Game of the Year or definitive edition
Yeah.
of this game.
Which is
Because
why I
this
love the
game-
Wii U version.
This game has been re-released about 12 different times, I think. With the Game of the Year edition, with the Complete edition, with the Armored edition on the Wii U. You could get
Best
it
version.
with
Just saying.
tons of DLC, with everything that works with the game. And I agree with Dave. The combat, the way that it utilizes the Wii U tablet, it is a great port of the game, and it's the way
It's so compelling. It makes you feel like a real detective. That
and the
sounds like
attention and the gameplay style that's basically put together for the Armored Edition. It really shows why the power of the Wii U and the way that it could have been used in terms by third-party
good point.
developers.
Could have, because too many people should have,
Now,
but didn't.
This game basically goes to the fact where Batman himself has been instigated into a situation where Bruce Wayne is trapped in Arkham Asylum.
And they allude to this at the
Well,
start,
Arkham
which
City.
I really like. It which is they don't actually necessarily say per se that he's Batman or Bruce Wayne. He's just stuck at the start of this, game in the prison, and I really, really like that. I really like that.
Yeah, and this game also puts the open in the open world.
Plus, the rocking off the chair scene. I hate quick time events, but the rocking off the chair scene was brilliant.
Yeah. So basically, Hamill stated that this was going to be the final time that we voicing the Joker. Quincy Sharp was voiced by Tom Kane. You had Police Commissioner Gordon by David Kay. Jack Ryder by James Horan.
Who did Catwoman?
You had the returning villains as well. That was in there. You had Victor Zaz.
Yeah, but no,
had-
who voiced Catwoman?
Let's have a look.
She was fucking hot.
You had Oracle by Kumalu Brooks. Hugo Strange, who was the main antagonist. Well, you thought was the main antagonist in this game, but they kind of played a bait and switch with this one. Dave Shot, Hush, Vicky Vale.
Can I just do the Prince quotes from the original movie album?
Doesn't actually say.
Every time someone says Vicky Vale, I just want to say Vicky Vale.
I like
Batman.
Batman.
Oh my
But
god!
this
that
game,
video.
this game had a thing about swaying you in different directions. When you thought
This
that you
game
had,
was Grand Theft Auto in Batman form.
well, when you thought you had all the answers, it kind of changed the questions in a sense, and it revealed that the Joker himself was dying from that, that drug, that venom-induced drug that he put together, that he was going to use the Titan formula, and the fact that it was it mutated the Joker's blood, and it was gradually killing him. He captures Batman, performs a blood transfusion on him, infecting him with the same fatal disease, and he reveals that Gotham hospitals had been poisoned with his infected blood. Desperate to save himself and innocent citizens, Batman seeks out Mr. Freeze, who had been developing a cure but has since been kidnapped by the
Well,
Penguin.
people forget that Mr. Freeze, if you go back to original comics,
He's a
is
good guy.
he may be an archetypal villain, but technically he's a good guy.
Yeah. So Batman
He's
goes
been
through.
forced into his role.
Batman goes through everything, including.
You're not going to put me in the cooler.
Including deals with a situation where he disables Protocol 10, and Ra's al Ghul is revealed to be kind of like the true mastermind behind everything that happens in Arkham City.
And I adored that moment.
but then it goes straight from him back to the Joker, who is revealed to be like the true antagonist of this game, the guy who's pulling the strings all along. And we get to see something that we've never seen, well, till now in a Batman series.
Penis?
No, the Joker actually dying and Batman doing everything he can to save one of his biggest foes.
Well, that's the biggest thing about Batman that I like, even though I have moments when I dislike him, and it was clearly prevalent in the
He's a
one
dick.
shot.
He always lets
the
know people
the
know
one
that
shot
he's a dick.
crossover with the Punisher, which is, he's got morals, so he'll kick the shit out of you, but he won't let you die.
Yeah, he'll break every bone in your body, but he won't allow you to die. You know.
That's why he's such a skilled physician.
Yeah, and the great thing.
Oh
about
my
this
god,
is
he's a Tory.
he did everything he could to save the Joker's life. You know, Batman. You know, he destroyed Lazarus Pit before the Joker can use it. You know,
Can we just say it like Prince?
yeah.
Batman!
Batman drinks a portion of the antidote himself to kind of save himself and tries to give some to the Joker, who instead attacks him before he can act, destroys the antidote vial, you know, and ultimately, by the way, spoilers for those who haven't seen this
You raise
game,
a really
who haven't
good point,
played the
though,
game.
because how many games, right, actually
Joker-
have genuine heart in them?
Yeah, the
and this
Joker
does.
succumbs to his death, and it's one of the most heartwarming things you ever see, where Batman actually honours his foe, in a sense. You know, he's like, he didn't want it to come to it, he wanted to save him at any cost and couldn't. And then we ended up getting the DLC that further
Well, I
elaborates
guess
on
you
it as
could
well.
say this, and I hope they'll do this in the Batman vs Superman movie, which is the reason I like Batman as a comic character is ultimately, regardless of his gruff, bullying and abrasive outside, he's an everyday man.
Yeah. Totally. And he has a heart, and he doesn't want to have something like that, like the Joker's death on his conscience. And now for those basically as well, you could play like the Catwoman missions if you purchase the DLC for it as well. You had
Or just buy a
Harley Quinn's-
Wii U and buy the Wii U version because you get fucking
You had
hell.
Harley Quinn's Revenge, the Nightwing pack as well. And
I'd like to have sex with Harley Quinn, but I fear something bad may happen.
she would kill you, Dave. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Point that
Right
out.
afterwards.
So yeah, that's
Protected sex because I'm an adult.
Arkham City in a nutshell. You know, I try not to
Mr.
spoil
J
as much
said
as I
this
could.
is a strangle wank.
It's a fantastic game, people. It's an absolutely fantastic game, and right, I'm going to big up my system that I own. If you have a Wii U, you can buy this bad boy for
Relatively
like
cheap,
£6.
yeah. I
Yeah,
bought it for like a
it's-
$5 on eBay.
And it's got everything, and it plays so good. Think what we always wanted when if you told me this is 12-year-old Dave, hey Dave, would you like to play Grand Theft Auto? You don't even know what that is now, but you will wonder. In the future as Batman for £6? I mean, fuck me sideways and call me Susan. That's amazing. And it's a really, really solid, like Brian said, it's a really solid game, but it's just so engaging. Not because the controls are brilliant and tight and shit, and you have so much fun doing it, because the biggest thing, and hopefully you'll agree with me on this, Burhan, is the biggest thing about this game, even over its predecessor, which was brilliant, is it's like the most engaging story you'll ever play. It's
Yeah,
it's wonderful. It's so well written.
It's not just
So-
engaging, it's the fact that you can do anything you want. You can go around this vast city, you can do the Riddler missions,
Yeah.
you could do other things rather than do the story. You can go back straight into
And
the story
as
when you want
someone
to.
who wanted to do this as a child, and this sounds really like cheap and crap, but it's just so much fun to shoot your gas gun and go flip, and then rise up to the ceiling. Like,
Definitely. So let's talk about the experiences with you, Sean. What did you think of the game?
I haven't
And-
played it yet.
Ooh.
I haven't played it yet. I got it there. sitting
you're
in the,
dead to
Steam
me, my
downloads.
Canadian brother.
I'm playing Arkham Asylum right now, and as soon as I'm done Arkham Asylum, I'm playing Arkham City. I'm playing.
Does that mean we
more.
have a part 2 to this, Burhan?
We will not, but we're
Could
'cause we're nearly actually
interesting.
finished up.
Shut
We're
me,
gonna be talking.
shut me down right there. No, we won't.
We're
Piss
not
off,
going to be
Dave.
talking. We talked a little bit about Arkham Origins. We don't have to go into the whole entirety of it. What I will say is, Sean, once you play Arkham City, you won't be disappointed. Now, Rocksteady was going to have that as the finality. There was going to be no other game.
And
So
then the
about-
people in suits above them in offices just went, "Hey, this makes money."
Let's milk it. Yeah, and they did that with the Arkham Origins. A lot of people were disappointed and upset about the Arkham Origins, including the many issues that they had on PC.
Do you know what? Right? Can I be honest? Even though I do openly admit that it's a shit game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it while it was completely weaker than its predecessors, but I enjoyed it simply because I like being Batman.
But
That's
the
not.
thing about it is, there was no relevance in terms of the story and structure.
And it was properly linear.
If you eliminate Arkham Origins and start with Arkham Asylum,
Well,
you know,
technically they did now.
Yeah. But Rocksteady then decided to get back involved, where Warner Brothers finalized the deal for them to do a new Arkham game, which is known as Arkham Knight. Now, for those who haven't played this,
And by the way, people, you see my Facebook. My greatest double selfie ever is next to the Arkham Knight cardboard stand in a supermarket. Just saying. Sorry.
so
To exploit the shit out of this game.
before we go into Arkham Knight, I want to basically talk about what did Warner Brothers do wrong in terms of Arkham Origins from.
They regressed. They went backwards.
Well, Dave,
That's-
go a little bit into that. I want to get you and Sean to talk about it for a second. I need to quickly run and
Right.
make
My
a small
problem
phone
with that
call.
Well,
Yeah,
first, did they have
so-
Paul Dini do the script at all for
No.
Origins? Is he involved? Oh, well, there you go. There's part of it right there, the
Basically,
big
they had
chunk.
none of the original team behind the games or the original cast
It was
involved.
it was an outside product, which is why it failed. My biggest problem with this game, even though, and I'm going to contradict myself and be, hypocritical bastard right now, is I enjoyed it because I was Batman, but at the same time there was a taste in my mouth of disgust because it was just inferior to everything that followed before it. It was the most linear of that franchise, and now I understand why they kind of cut it out of that franchise and don't refer to it. Apparently, it's a trilogy, even though it wasn't. I hate this word because it's not even a real word. Quadrilogy, and
Yeah,
it was.
Jones territory.
Yeah, it was just. This game could have been brilliant, and it just felt half-assed and pumped out to milk the franchise or take the Batman
Yeah.
name. And granted, I bought it because actually no,
It
my
wasn't
defense,
released that
my
far
brother
after,
bought
was
it for me
it?
for
From
Christmas.
Arkham City.
It was just. It was like you took everything from the other games and just went, oh, by the way, everything you love about the other games, the fact that you can walk around and move anywhere you want. Oh, you can't anymore, by the way. Now you are officially playing a very linear, boxed-in game. And it was like, but this isn't what I want from a Batman game. Hold me, I'm
Must be able to
scared.
fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. They released that not too long after Arkham City, though, didn't they? Like, it was within a year?
Like a year or something, yeah.
Yeah, and so, well, that goes straight to it's like the opposite of
How do you
Fallout.
justify
Like,
releasing that after a game, even though it's a different distribution company? How do you justify releasing that after the previous game that was basically Grand Theft Auto Batman form, and then, right, no cars, obviously, and then you release this linear piece of shit,
Okay.
and it's shame on you, shame on you.
yeah.
You're taking your fan base for granted, and I don't like shit like that.
Yeah, that's kind of a disappointment. You go from something great and is perfected and is well done.
It's
as
like
well as
going from a
Arkham City.
perfectly, well, I don't like heat, but I'm going to say this. It's like going from a perfectly sunny day that you really enjoyed with a picnic in the park, and then waking up the next day and it's pissing down with rain. It's so contrasted towards the stuff that preluded it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. I didn't have any interest.
I enjoyed
in
it though.
Like,
I'm going to completely contradict myself, and I hate myself for saying this. Mainly because I got it for Christmas for free from my brother Jason. Thank you, Jason. I enjoyed it, but I think, in fact, here you go, Ubisoft. Here you go. Here's why I enjoyed this game. I got it for free. That's not.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah, that's not a bold statement you want to hear. Hey, why'd you like our Batman game? Got it for free. Oh, so do you enjoy anything in it? No, got it for free. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Although, if I can take one positive from it, I would like to say this. His cape was shiny and fantastic in it.
Yeah, I wanna. Maybe if I ever have it gifted to me, I'll take a crack at it too. I've had Arkham City sitting there for
Arkham
6 months.
City is. I know we've just moved to the next game, but Arkham City is a fucking work of masterpiece.
Oh, I got it there. I got the full version there for PC.
Sometimes when I play it, I get semi and think of Kim Basinger.
I still like the part
In
where
the
he,
80s. In my defense,
yeah,
in the 80s.
Yeah, like Wayne's World's when she like finished at her.
Let me
Yes.
rephrase
Upset.
that. Right, people, we're going to go back in time. Sometimes that game's such a masterpiece, I think of Kim Basinger in 9.5 weeks. There we go.
Oh, now you're talking.
Excellent
But,
nipples.
They're exquisite. Actually, I just think too when he in Batman has her there and he has that cable gun and he's like, "How much you weigh?" Yeah, and he shoots after like, "Yeah, I think you weigh a bit more than that."
All right, people, we're gonna break the fourth wall right now. We're gonna drop games for a second and talk about Tim Burton's 1989 Batman.
But that's the thing. In terms of like the difference from the Origins games.
Burhan,
What?
me and Sean have just decided that we're gonna break the fourth wall and talk about Tim Burton's 1989 Batman for 2 minutes.
All right, go for it.
Best fucking Batmobile ever. Period.
Oh my god! Even that fucking
God.
score. Danny Elfman, I love you.
I could handbrake round this corner, but why bother? I got a cable. I can
Didn't
shoot
Danny
my.
Elfman do the 50 Shades of Grey movie as well?
Oh, now I'm really
That
upset.
was a pay job.
Yeah, I'm just probably sitting there him looking at it going, let's just
You
find some
just
crappy popular
completely
music.
destroyed our Batman moment. I'm really upset now.
Well, I had to.
With
So-
50 Shades of shit.
Let me just basically.
We're back
think
on the
about this.
games, people. Sorry.
Let's think about something as well. in
Another
terms of-
time, Sean. Another time.
Yeah,
Another
another
time.
time.
Cloud.
In
Another
terms of Batman Arkham Origins, that's where Warner kind of failed in it because they didn't have, as Dave kind of.
It was
summed up,
cannon fodder. That's what it was. They
went
felt the need
backwards
to
instead
put a
of
game
forwards.
out. Yeah, they felt the need to put a game out to make sure that something existed within said franchise, but it was shit. It was an insult to the fans.
To each and every one of you out there, if you want to play the game, you are more than welcome to actually play it.
Oh, and you can buy it in my local Pink Planet. You can actually pick that up on the Wii U for £2.
Yeah, it's
But I would advise that
relatively
you don't.
cheap. But if you don't buy it, you can still experience the full Arkham series without it. It's
Yeah.
one of those games where it's not
I
necessarily.
think what we're
considered
basically trying to
canon.
say, Burhan, is we should ignore it, shouldn't we?
You can
It should-
ignore it if you want to, but you don't have to.
It should be the elephant in the room.
Because at the end of the day, I don't have an issue with it. I think in terms of the game itself,
Oh, you'll have fun.
It's,
It
it's
just
kind of. I
doesn't-
would consider it as DLC, very high paid
Yeah.
DLC.
Cool. You'll
so
have
yeah.
fun playing it, but it just does not lead up to its predecessors.
It does nothing new with the franchise, and is a bit too short in comparison. Plus, if you're a PC owner or
It looks
360
shiny.
owner,
You know what? I'm going to throw out one bone right now. It looks shiny and fantastic, though.
yeah. And the final game in the series is the Arkham Knight. Now, I love this story, and the reason why I love this story is because I've got a bit of a personal investment in it. For those who don't know, I attended the MCM London Comic Con, and I got to interview none other than John Noble. John Noble, a great actor
But Felicia
from
Day
Fringe.
shafted us. Sorry.
From Fringe, and he played a character. He was talking about the fact that he'd be playing a character in the series. Never alluded to who he was playing. He just said he was playing someone. It was amazing that I got to see the fact that he was voicing Scarecrow. Now, me and Jamie Styles we agreed to disagree on the fact that she feels that Scarecrow has never been a character that would take over the world. Right?
I disagree.
And the fact that in the Arkham, in the Arkham Knight game, he's actually the lead villain. So,
I get that. I think Scarecrow's quite underrated because maybe just me and Sony suffers from anxiety.
But the thing
I
is,
like I like the
consider
fact that
game
someone's
Elseworld.
main power is just to project fear.
Yeah, but I consider it Elseworld. I get where she's coming from because in the previous games, the Scarecrow was condensed down to a couple of missions. In this game, he's actually made into a bigger villain. He's given a bigger role, a bigger story.
Well, he's a
and-
big villain, and if you take the comic books, going back to day one when he was invented, he's a big canon villain in the DC
Wasn't he
universe.
invented? He was invented for the animated series, wasn't he?
No,
No. Scarecrow's been around for years in the Rogues Gallery.
we're talking
70s,
like
I
what?
think.
Yeah, 70. I was just going to say he's been knocking around since the 70s.
He was a former doctor at the asylum.
And I like him. I think he's a brilliant character. I like the whole fact that what's the one thing, whether you have superpowers or not, that can cripple your opponent.
There's
Fear.
only one variation of the Scarecrow that I do hate, and I'm going to point it out. I didn't like from the Nolan Batman trilogy. I
So-
hate
Oh,
He's
he was
scared.
fucking idiot, and they completely cheapened his character.
No, the thing is, the
They
first
wasted
movie was
it.
fine.
They wasted the
a
opportunity.
nice, they had a nice build with the first initial character, but then they kept bringing him back for the other two.
Well, they brought him back for the start of the second movie, and he was like almost
He's like a
throwaway
street thug.
cannon.
Yeah. So,
But as a character in the comics, if we go back to DC from the 70s, he was a great character, and he is a great character. And I like the fact that, you don't need a superpower. All you need to do to be able to, rule people is scare them.
yeah, and that's the thing.
Not that I
And-
rule people, by the way. I'm just
Now,
saying.
for those people who haven't played Arkham Knight, there is going to be a small little bit of spoilers. I'll try not to ruin the game because
And I
I know
have
it's relatively
played
new. It is relatively new. The Scarecrow, what the Scarecrow ultimately tries to do is end Batman in general, right? And as someone who followed the story of the game,
Sounds like a euphemism for a wank.
but you also find out that the Joker is involved in this game. In a way to try
Who
and
voices
find
Joker in this game, by the way?
Hamill reprises the role.
I thought he said he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, he decided to come back for this final game because it's a final, it's a finality.
It's like, it's 20
Oh,
bucks, it's 20
hypocrite.
bucks.
And he comes back, but this time he's not physical. He's all in Batman's head because Batman gets
That
infected
works.
with the
I
Joker
like-
blood, which they use to kind of transform certain individuals into the Joker.
Which
There
is
was-
a tie into the prior game.
Yeah, there was 3 individuals that they infected, but the 4th one ended up being Batman. And you actually look at they do this thing where time kind of shifts. They go back to kind of prequel points to what Batman was doing, why this has happened, and it kind of defines the story in a certain way. And it's great having the Joker in your head all the time, trying to stop you from trying to accomplish things.
Having the Joker in your head is the greatest narrative in the world ever.
He acts like devil's advocate for everybody, and then just goes, "You know what, Bats? Just go and kill the guy. You know you want to do that." And he's just like, and Batman's trying to fight against it. And there's even certain times where the Joker will actually take over.
Oh, nice.
So it's a really, really good concept. I love.
This is the
fact-
game, I told you before earlier on the podcast, this is the game, even though I'm broke, that I'm actually toying with trying to find a way to raise the funds to buy an X-Bone for.
Yeah, it's on the PS4 as well. So
So
I don't
those
care about
systems.
I don't care about any other games. I just need to play this.
What I would suggest to anybody out there, this game is a great play. It does add to the fact it is more expansive to the point where you have to use the Batmobile to actually get from one place to the other. You
Is it really?
cannot-
I see. I mean, I haven't played it. I don't know, but they made a big deal about this. But is it like Arkham City, and you can actually tear around downtown Gotham in your Batmobile?
Yes.
Because that would just give me a huge boner.
And the Batmobile does resemble the old Batman, Burton-esque Batmobile, but it has kind of elements from the
I thought it
new-
was Tumblr.
No, in terms of the way that it's modelled, it resembles that, but it has elements from the Nolan series as well. So it has that kind of tankish element. It kind of joins up as well. Batman's support team.
Guns? Please tell me it has guns.
It does have guns.
Sexy. Sorry.
It does have Batman support teams from the previous comic books, from the animated series, and also from the movies that were made famous and kind of put all together. It's a great great game. The storytelling is sublime, and it brings that kind of finality to it as well, because in the end something happens which you won't believe. And
So
the
it rounds
identity of
off the story then. Does it completely round off the story?
it does for that. As I said, this is an Elseworld story. This has nothing to do. It's not canon. It's nothing to do with Batman's actual life and times, but it's an Elseworld story. The one thing I will point out in this is the identity of the Arkham Knight. I kind of had this
I
peg
like
since
to think. I like
since
to
they
think,
introduced
by
the
way.
character. They're like, "Oh, the Arkham Knight is a new character," and I was like, "I know who this is," and it turns out I was right. Not
Is
gonna
it?
say who it was.
Can I say this? All I'm going to say is this: I haven't played this game. I know nothing about it because I don't own a next gen console. But is the Arkham Knight? All I'm going to say is Red Hood.
You mean Jason Todd?
No, you just fucking. I was trying to be stealthy.
I haven't played it yet. I haven't looked anything into it. I'm guessing too.
Did you? What you saying about the Red Hood?
No, is the Arkham Knight the Red Hood?
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
And now that
Stone
Michelin is just completely blown out the window, is he Jason Todd?
I will say this to each and every one of you lovely people. Do not go on YouTube. Oh, this people wonder why I hate Let's Plays. This is the reason. They will put out the entire
So you
story.
hate me? Oh, I'm upset now.
Dude, I said you're a gameplay, not a Let's Player. This is the problem I have with some people, where they'll play the game, they'll post every single gameplay on YouTube, which has its positives. You know, say like you get stuck on the level, you can find out how someone else dealt with the level. It's how I've gotten past many a game.
We don't have to watch it in their defense, Burhan. We don't have to watch it.
No, but it's there, and the problem is it does clutter the feed to the point where you if you've got an itchy finger, you can, you know, and it does annoy me. So stay off of YouTube if you want to experience the full entirety of the game. That's a warning for everyone. So yeah, and that's kind of the finality to it. It does give a great finality. John Noble's the Scarecrow added a lot of depth to the character, where previously the Scarecrow was kind of condensed as a very minor league villain. I felt he was brought out as a bigger villain.
I never thought
in
he
this
was a
game.
minor. This
No,
game
but in the
aside,
other
I
Arkham
never
games,
thought
he
he was
was-
a minor league villain.
He was like a side quest in the other Arkham games. But, you know, yeah, despite what Jamie says, I believe he worked. And even though she thinks, no, but he's not, you know, he's not that type of guy.
No, but
Neither is
yeah,
the
but
Riddler,
no, but yeah.
but the Riddler still can be that type of guy. Everyone has potential to be the bigger villain.
In fact, I'm going to be bold right now. The Scarecrow is far more a scarier character than the Riddler. Just saying. To fuck with someone with riddles is one thing, but to basically shut an individual down by sheer fear, that's something else.
Yeah. No, I agree. In terms
You shut down
of
a
what
Green
you
Lantern.
guys saw for the Arkham Knight, what did you guys think? We'll start with
Riddle
you,
me
Dave.
this, riddle me that. Who's scared of the big bad bat? Sorry.
What about you, Mr. Michelin? What do you think?
Sorry, a little yawn there. I can't wait to give it a try. When I get through Arkham City, I want to give that a try. I have no interest in Origins, so I'm just like, it doesn't really play into
By
it.
city,
And
by city, by city, by city. I'm just saying.
yeah, I'm hopefully if my specs are in line on my computer, when I can, I wait a little while for them to work all the bugs out. I'll probably pick it up and give it a try. I'm pretty excited for it.
So there you go, guys. What is your opinions of Arkham City or the Arkham trilogy? Or you know, if you want to consider Origins in there, the Arkham series of games.
Where do you stand?
Did you enjoy it? You know, did you think it was amazing? Did you like it? For me, I felt it was a great. The series of games were great. You know, it was enjoyable. It made things work in terms of
Storytelling, and too few games these days have storytelling.
yeah, and it gave that kind of balance between gameplay and story. I know there's a lot more DLC coming for it, so we shall see how they end up rounding off the story, if they round off the story. But for now, the way that the story has ended, it gave kind of an open-ended feel, but it also worked in terms of its entirety. And the way that DC have kind of doing the Batman series without Batman at the moment is kind of working. So we'll see how that goes. So that's pretty much it from us. And let's go on to the plugs and let people know, where can we find you, Sean? Where can we find you?
You can find,
you
him
can
in
find me
Canada,
on.
eh? Sorry.
Yeah, you can find me in the Canada. Hey. Hey. But I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. Except for Facebook, you can find me at Dietless79, DAIATLEOS79. I'm also usually for anything like Steam or Xbox Live. You can find me on there. I
And you
use
have
it
an
for
amazing
everything. That's the only
mustache.
reason I go by it. My mustache, my mustache. But on Facebook, I'm Sean J. Michelin. You can find me on there. I do have a like page for Dietless79, but I don't really curate it that much. I've been trying to find time between my busy schedule with everything, personal
How
life and
would
work and
one
everything.
go about making a mustache as great as yours?
Oh, you just patience, time, and I actually wash my facial hair with the same thing as
And
my
wax.
head hair.
And you've got to pick a pocket or two,
head
boy.
shoulders.
You got to
Sorry?
pick a pocket or two.
Yes. Yeah, but you can find me on there. Just
I was just about
reach
to sing
out.
the
I
Lumberjack
usually
song.
always respond.
Monty Python, but I won't.
Dave, where can we find you?
You can find me standing over the still warm corpse of the Joker, looking down in my Batman costume and just saying, "You tripped on a banana peel." There's irony.
Well, you
Go
could
fuck
bake
it.
him like sliced bread. So that's that's pretty much it from us, guys. You can find me on youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. I've been very busy with videos this week, so if you like loads of content, I've got loads of it, including a Tech Genius tutorial on how to basically convert SDI to HDMI via video capture. It's a pretty
Which
good
I
video.
watched. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it was a very interesting video, and for some reason it got like 7 dislikes. I have no idea
People
why.
are stupid, Burhan, that's why.
We also got 2 YouTubers of the week this week, of course, including Ronnie Green, aka Rodmeyer, and Mr. Dave Wade himself, Boys Post 1975.
I didn't deserve it, but thank you very much.
And I discussed the reason why I've done 2 YouTubers of the week this week, and also discussed the fact that why I feel that both guys' channels stand out in my eyes. And if you want to be considered for YouTuber of the week, you can go to either youtube.com/TheNerdGenius.
Let me handle this, Burhan, by the way. If you want to be YouTuber of the week, right, ignore Burhan and send me a check for £1,000.
Or just go to youtube.com/TheNerdGenius and check it out there. And basically, leave a comment underneath Dave's video or Ron's video telling me about your channel and just telling me to check it out. And I'll be more happy to check it out. The other video on there as well is one, for some reason, I've been getting a lot of heat from my friends, relatively, from people I work with in Retro London. It's called Anita Sarkeesian is a Troll. They're saying it's a clickbait video. I disagree.
I disagree too. I'm going to say
The
that.
video
I watched
is myself
as well.
touching on the fact where my timeline was clustered during E3 on videos about Anita Sarkeesian, and I talked about the fact what I feel that people just need to do to kind of stop mentioning her in the videos. And I now had to. It's a double-edged sword. I had to mention her in order to.
Well, it's YouTube, isn't it, Burhan?
Yeah.
It's double-edged sword in the sense that you're not actually allowed to have an observational opinion upon stuff
Yeah,
because
it's in order to put my
fanboys
opinion
won't like
across,
it.
I had to mention her. The other video as well is.
Dear
a video-
Anita Sarkeesian, I like your breasts. They're quite impressive. Other than
honestly.
that, go fuck off.
She's very plain, to tell you the truth, in terms of a human being. She wants to be.
She wears a lot of makeup.
Yeah, I'm not going to, discuss her as a person because I did say in my video, if you want to hear my opinion on her, check out the video, and it discusses that.
And Retro Wonderland family, by the way, he was right. So stand
Yeah,
down.
I don't know, but one of them most notably was the console snob who said that I'm better than doing clickbait videos, and I said if you watch the video, you would see that it's not a clickbait video. It's just me discussing my opinion on this because my timeline was clustered with videos on this woman. I had people posting videos on my
How
timeline
dare
going,
you,
"This is my
Burhan, having
opinion
an
on her," and I'm
opinion.
like, "Yeah, I get it. Why are you putting this opinion across? Because it's an annoying one. I don't like her. I don't like her as a person. I don't like her in terms of as a business or a brand. But in order to kind of
Does anyone else remember Jamie Smiles?
no,
All right, just me.
Guess who was pro Gamergate confirmed today?
who's that?
William fucking Shatner.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa.
He agrees with the main ethics. But yeah, Sarkeesian. Yeah, we gotta ignore her to make her go away. But
Well, the fact that she did a huge
she's bringing
advertising
on
blitz
her-
during
If I
E3,
click my heels together 3 times and say, instead of there's no place like home, Sarkeesian, go away. Will she go away?
Well, LBGG.
I don't know,
as I
she's
call
like
it.
Ann
Let's
Coulter
blame
now.
Gamergate. And no offense, one of the reasons why I've stopped talking about Gamergate is
Oh my
because
God, Sarkeesian,
they're
you're a
blamed about
cold
everything.
sore.
Right. Anyway, we're not gonna give her any more promotion.
Sorry.
I also done a video talking about TNA Impact. If you're a wrestling fan, I discuss whether Impact's future is in doubt.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little video I've done on that. I've also done a video further elaborating on my documentary project that I'm doing. I got a great deal of feedback from that as well, including 9 dislikes from people. Guys, no offense to those who keep disliking my videos. Watch them first. There's,
People don't watch videos, Burhan. They just go for that button.
But that's the funny thing is there's 2 videos this week that got a lot of dislikes. One was the SDI to HDMI conversion video, and the homeless in the.
Well, at least they dislike you. They just fill my fucking
the
inbox
homelessness
up.
in the EU video, which always makes me laugh. And then last but not least, I did another video, which won't be the last video. I'm doing another video tomorrow, which was the Ask the Minions video. It's basically them talking about their favourite game. I think this is my favourite video of the week. And the reason being is they just sit there as the little people discussing what games they love. It was hilarious to watch, because I played the video back. And they've got their own cool little intro now as well, which I think is actually kind of cool. So yeah, check those out. Tell me what you think about it. Leave your comments as always for Dave, for Sean, for my stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment so I want to know your opinion, because in the end, without you commenting, this is social media altogether, guys. We don't know what it is you like and dislike. And if you do dislike my videos, leave a comment and tell me why. This is the thing that made me laugh was the person who... The people who have these 9 dislikes... All you could have done is left comments at the bottom of the video as well and explained why
People
you disliked
don't do
it.
that. People
And
like to hide behind their
I would
monitor.
be more than happy to respond to each and every one of you, because I find it so silly and ridiculous that you don't. I'm not calling you out and saying, "Oh, big man." I'm sitting there going, "No, you know what? If you really do
Let me
feel that
explain a
strongly,
phrase to you, Burhan. It's called faceless keyboard warrior
if you do
mentality.
feel that strongly, please state your opinion." But saying that, I lost subscribers this month. I've gained subscribers, so it's actually kind of cool. It's nice watching my channel grow and watching people basically voice their opinion, those who do. So that's pretty much it from us, guys. And as always, stay tuned to I Got Gameplay. I now have 5 more shows left until I hand the series over to Sean, who's going to be our main host. Hopefully Dave will stay on as one of the co-hosts as well.
I will, because I'm not going to lie,
Oh, you
Burhan.
will.
I love you, very much, but me and Sean are Commonwealth buddies, so fuck off.
So there you go, guys. Check that out. 5 more weeks left. It's been real. It's great, but
Still need to buy you a stove. Sorry, my
I
bad.
will round off everything to the final episode afterwards. So we'll talk about that later on. And that's pretty much it from us, guys. So from Sean Michelin, from Mr. Dave Wade himself, and I'm Michael Burhan saying that we've got gameplay. Have you?
This show was sponsored by my massive penis. Sorry.